Hey, what's going on, RC drivers? Welcome back to the workshop. Last time I sat down to work on our project TRX4, the doorbell rang and the Bronco was on my doorstep. It's over there on the shelving on display. That thing looks so awesome. But today I sat down to work on the TRX4 again because we have to install the winch. I gotta show you guys how it works. Gotta show you the lighting kit installed in there. But the doorbell rang again, and on the doorstep was the new 4-Tec 3.0 with the Corvette body on there. It looks so sick. I can't wait to show it to you. So here it is, the new Traxxas 4-Tec 3.0 with the 2021 Chevrolet Corvette Stingray body on here, and this thing looks amazing. Now, I have to share a story with you guys. Typically, I go to the New York Auto Show, love checking out the new cars there, and one of my very first stops is the Chevrolet booth because I love checking out the new Corvettes. It's my dream to own one day, and I'm gonna make it happen sometime, but right now I am totally excited to have this car, and of course to show it to you guys. Traxxas did another fantastic job with the bodywork on this one. Just killer. I mean, just the lines on it are fantastic. Just the detail up front, even the engine peeking out, the mid-engine peeking out of the back here. Look at the spoiler on it. Look at the bright blue of this thing. Now it does come in a couple different colors. We obviously have the blue one, but they have a red version and a charcoal version as well. And if they have specific names, please feel free to correct me in the comments. Let me know what they are, but this blue is fantastic. Of course, because it goes with the RC driver blue, right? But look at this thing. Look at the stripes down the hood. I'm even okay with the decals for windows on this just because, I don't know, it just makes it look sleek on this car. And you know what? We don't really put interiors on on-road cars for some reason. So I'm okay with the decals for the windows right now. Look at the mirrors on here. These are molded pieces. They have decals on the back side of it. But let me start off in the front here. The grill area and the intake areas are molded plastic. Those look fantastic. And then the headlights are separate pieces with a clear lens on here that goes into the insert behind. And everything is molded, so it's got real depth to it. And you can put LED lights in there, which is fantastic. Look at the splitter down below. That's a separate piece. That's part of the front bumper. It looks really cool. Just the style of the front of this is fantastic. And then back here, we've got the scoop for the air duct and everything. And then this is the only spot where you would know that this is an RC car body in some photos. You can see the screw here holding on the rear panel. And I guess it was pretty much necessary to get all the molding detail in the rear section of this. And so we'll give them a pass there. I mean, just because the molding of the body in the back is just killer. That's just the only way to describe it. Look at the taillights, look at the venting, even down to the exhaust tips. Wow, those look fantastic. That's just incredible. This is really like a model. I mean, you could just go throw this thing on the shelf and you would just be excited looking at it for something on display. Just a great look overall. Even this rear piece where you could see the engine in through the window here is a molded piece. There's a whole section below it that kind of clamps everything together and gives you that extra detail that you want out of an RC car. Now, I mean, that's what this is what RC manufacturers are doing. They're really stepping up and giving us the detail that we want in an RC car. But look at the detail in the engine. A lot of that is decal, and obviously it's just a molded piece. It's not a real engine, but it just gives you that depth, that look that you want out of a really cool looking RC car. All right, now you may have noticed that there are no body clips on this. Traxxas has done it again. They have some simple push tabs under the body here, and it actually goes down into this front bumper. But as you can see, I just pushed on one tab. Now watch this, I'm gonna spin it around, and there's one tab in the back. And look at that, the body is already off. Check out underneath. Look at all the separate pieces. You could put a bunch of LED lights in here. It is LED light ready. Tons of LED lights could go in the back, but you could see all the separate pieces. And then when you're ready to go and run the car, it just drops back on. There we go, simple, look, and it's on. It's not coming off. That thing is solid. Really cool. All right, let me pull the body back off and we'll talk about the changes to the 4-Tec chassis. The 4-Tec 3.0 is much like the 4-Tec 2.0, just a few differences between the two. I'm actually gonna go and put a card up above and down in the description, so if you wanna check out the 2.0 review, you could do that after you watch this video, get some more details. Right here, I'm just gonna talk about what they've changed up, and that starts off in the front with this new front bumper body mount, which looks really cool. The way they designed it, it has these little openings here that mate up with posts that are mounted to the body, so it just keys into place and just requires a single little tap in the front to release it. And pretty much the same in the back here. You can see these little squares where the pegs just align themselves, the body doesn't shift around, and it just requires one little tap to release it in the back. Really love that setup. Really easy, and you know, it guides itself into place. You don't have to worry about setting anything up, and it's really easy to use. Love it. It also has this foam bumper to help protect the front end, and it has this splitter that mates up with the front of the Corvette body, which looks really, really cool. Just love it when they add some ground effects to their kits. Looks really awesome. Has this little ground effect in the back as well. Pretty cool. But that's the big change for the body mounting system on it. Just love that it doesn't have body clips anymore. Now moving farther back to the suspension, it's pretty much like the 2.0. We got oil-filled coilover shocks. They are a composite body shock, but they do feel nice. Simple fixed links up top, really nice A-arms down below, and you know, just a simple setup with kind of your standard steering knuckle and caster block type of setup for the suspension. And we've seen it before, so I'm assuming it's going to work well here. There are some changes to the chassis that I'm going to go over, and actually some changes to the width. That actually comes in the tires, and they've got new tires on here. 2.81 wheels on this with a narrow tire in the front, a little bit wider tire in the back, just to go along with the Corvette setup, which is pretty cool. But nice looking treaded tire, pretty firm insert in here as well. And the tire does feel a little sticky, so I think it's gonna grip pretty well. And behind the wheels is a faux disc brake and faux calipers to really give this car a good look when it's, you know, out there running or when it's sitting on the shelf. Now, same with the rear suspension, oil-filled shocks, fixed upper links, H-arms going out to the hubs on this. And now we can talk about the drivetrain, which is also pretty much the same. Gear differentials in the front and rear of this, oil-filled, so you can go and change it with different viscosity oils. Rubber shielded bearings throughout. It also prevents dust getting into the bearings. But I did take off the caps. Everything was really well greased in the gear cases. This does have steel dog bones front and rear. And a change to this is the center drive shaft. So this is now a steel drive shaft, where the 2.0 has an aluminum drive shaft in the center. And they have this support bearing as well. So you won't see that drive shaft deflecting when you add some power to it. So I like that change. Now, one of the other reasons why they changed the drive shaft in here is because they have a longer chassis now. This has a longer wheelbase, which fits this body perfectly. And I think this longer wheelbase is also going to help with the handling of this car. I did like the handling of the 2.0, but I'm really excited to drive this one. I can't wait to try it out. Because of that, they do have a new longer battery strap, and you could go and put your 8.4 volt nickel metal hydride battery in here, or your 2S LiPo batteries. and they do have this little foam spacer to kind of make up the difference for the length of the chassis now. But it does feel really rigid. They do make a nice composite chassis. We've got this honeycomb in the center to help make everything rigid, and I like the little details throughout, like this little wire cover over here, and you know, the composites on this are really nice. Two-tone look to the composite, so it gives it, you know, something to look at when you've got the body off of this. But that's really about it for changes. You know, it looks really well built. We've got a servo saver here. I might as well talk about the electronics. It's got the 2075 servo with a servo saver on it, just your standard servo, standard torque. And then it has the XL5 speed controller, which handles nickel metal hydride or 2S LiPo batteries. And then we've got our 12-turn Titan brush motor. Now, with a Corvette Stingray, I was kind of hoping we would see a brushless motor in here, maybe the VXL system, but it's not. And a little bit of a bummer there. Maybe they're going to come out with one. I don't know, but this does have some pretty good rip to it. They do give you an optional pinion gear in the kit, and when you run that pinion gear with the 8.4 volt battery, it supposedly hits 30 miles an hour. So we're definitely going to test that out in a little bit. And you're going to find your usual stuff inside the box, your instruction manuals, some sheets on different options that are available for the car, warranty cards, some decals, some shock preload clips, and the TQ radio system. But killer look to it. This is just a fun on-road car. If you want something that you know you could just turn on, put down on the ground, and have a blast with it, the 4-Tec chassis is definitely one to consider. So with that said, let's head outside and take this thing for a rip. All right, guys, time for a little drive time behind the wheel. And I've been having a blast with this thing, of course. It is just so cool ripping around the parking lot. It is not the fastest thing, I will say that. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys know that because of the brush system. It is not ripping quick, However, it's just fast enough to put a smile on my face. It handles really well. And I think anyone that's getting this as a first-time car is actually really going to enjoy it. And this is just the stock pinion gear on this. This is the 18 tooth. So it's pretty quick. And you know, you can put that larger pinion gear on there. I think it's a 22 tooth. Get some more rip out of it. But it's just fun going back and forth, kind of busting some big loops here because it's all-wheel drive. It doesn't do donuts, but it's got some good steering to it. And I've just been having fun with this thing. I mean, it looks so cool. I love the look of this vet body. I like it when I hit a couple ripples here and there in the pavement. Got them on both sides, so I just come through the corner, hit that ripple, it checks up a little bit. That's pretty awesome. But man, that thing just looks sick from every angle. Little chatter in the rear wheels. I think the hubs are a little loose on this. Not too big of a deal. Just kind of when you go through some corners, maybe it'll check up the car a little bit. But that's the only thing I've noticed so far. It's got some understeer to it when you go into the... Oh, no, actually kind of just spun out there. But, you know, if you come into the corner, it's just easy to manage. Smooth on the throttle. This car is just so much fun. All right, I'm gonna go put the bigger gear in there and see what this thing can do for speed. All right, guys, so I got kicked out of the other lot, but pulled into this lot, changed out the pinion gear, have a 22 tooth pinion in and a 7.4 volt LiPo battery. I also put a GNSS in there. Shout out to RC Guy Garage for kicking me in the butt to get that, but I have it all set up. Let's see what it does for a top speed. All right, hit the start and let's go. Should have no problem getting up to speed here. Wow, I just bounced over that thing. All right, let's rip it. Here it comes. Nice clean pass. All right, that definitely topped out. Let's see what we got for speed here. Hit the stop, read, and we got 27 miles an hour. That's with the 22 tooth pinion and a LiPo battery. So the 8.4 volt nickel metal is probably gonna give it that extra voltage that it needs for 30 miles an hour. I'm gonna go see if I can grab one of those packs and we'll hit that 30 mile an hour mark. All right, we got the big pinion gear in there and the 7 cell. Let's see how fast we can get it to go. All right, let's check our speed. Get it off the road first. Stop, read. 27 miles an hour again. So we didn't hit that 30 mark with the optional battery pack. So maybe with a fresh pack, I don't know, that pack I'm running is kind of old. Maybe with a fresh pack I would hit 30. But you're looking at around 27 miles an hour for running the 4-Tec 3.0. Actually, guys, I just did another run, 29 miles an hour. So that's much closer to 30. All right, that's better. The big draw to this car is obviously the body, and Traxxas did a phenomenal job recreating the Corvette Stingray in 1/10 scale-ish form. It's a bit longer than the 4-Tec 2.0, so I'm still guessing they're calling it 10 scale. I couldn't really find what it is. Let me know what you think it is in the comments section below. But, you know, the detail on this car is just incredible. It looks awesome on the shelf, and it looks awesome out there ripping around as well. And I had a great time driving it. I mean, out there in the smaller parking lots where I was running it, the speed was fine. It does probably about mid-20s, 25 or so right out of the box. I didn't speed test it on the stock pinion, but I did go and throw the optional pinion in there, and that's when I got the higher speeds out of it. I wouldn't say go running around with the higher pinion gear in there because it does heat up the electronics in the motor. I was running it on it was almost a 90-degree day, and everything was getting pretty warm by the end of the battery pack, which means you got to wait for it to cool down before you could run again. So definitely stick with that 18 tooth if you want to run more frequently, and you know, on those hotter days, you just want to keep with that smaller pinion. Let those electronics breathe for a bit. But it is fun. Ripping it up and down the parking lot, figure eights, you know, blasting through corners and stuff like that. Very cool. Did notice a little bit of wheel chatter in the rear. The wheels were just kind of shaking as I was going through the corner. And these tires do grip. In fact, I've got a bunch of battery packs through here, and the tread is really worn off at this point. So they got some grip. And when I picked the car up off the ground after running it, all the rocks and sand were stuck to the tires, so they get warm and sticky. So it's got some traction there. But steering wise, a little understeer, I'd say, for the most part. And if you're an experienced driver, you'll know how to wheel this car and get it to corner nice and tight under your control. Any breakage? No. I mean, you're running around in a parking lot. I did crash it into a curb. I didn't have the camera on at the time, and the body popped off. So that's something to think about. If you're going to go run this on a track for some reason, I don't think many people are, but if you hit a board on a track, I think the body will just pop right off, which is kind of a good thing, bad thing, I guess. It didn't harm the body at all. When I hit the curb, it just marred up the front splitter a little bit. But, you know, this something to just throw out there at you guys. Watch out for those curbs. And that's really about it. I think if you're really going to get into this car, running in big lots, you're probably going to want to go with the VXL system. Who knows, maybe Traxxas will offer this car later on down the road with that brushless system. But it is an option. And they have a bunch of option parts for this car if you want to go and modify it and tune it a little bit. So that's pretty cool as well. Traxxas did a great job here with the 4-Tec 3.0. I hope they come out with some more bodies on this platform. That would be pretty cool. But let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. I had fun with it, and I think other people are going to have fun with it. It does carry a price tag around $330 or something like that. I know for some people that's a little expensive for a brushed car, but it does have this killer licensed body on there, and that does take up some of the cost to transfer it over to you guys. But there are other people out there thinking it's only $330. So, I mean, it just depends on what end of the spectrum you're on. Anyway, it's cool that it's in my collection. I think a lot of people are going to grab it for their collection or just Corvette enthusiasts in general. Let me know which one you are. If you're new to the hobby and just want to get in with this car, let us know in the comments section below. While you're there, hit that subscribe button and the notifications bell. Throw the video a like. We'll see you back soon for some more RC Driver videos.